Some of the smartest people I've ever met are still financially stuck. Not broke, stuck. They read more books than anyone else, listen to every podcast, analyze every angle, and somehow, 10 years later, nothing has changed. If that irritates you a little, good, because intelligence doesn't save you from bad money decisions. In fact, sometimes it makes them worse. Set up the pain and stakes. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Smart people don't stay poor because they lack information. They stay poor because they overthink, delay, and protect their ego. I've watched engineers, doctors, executives, people who could outthink almost anyone paralyze themselves financially. They wait for perfect certainty. They want guarantees. They mistake complexity for progress. And if you're watching this feeling anxious about money, the future, or whether you waited too long, there's a decent chance this is about you. Because being smart gives you a dangerous advantage. You can always justify doing nothing, reframe, and big promise. Over the last few decades, building companies on the edge of failure, I learned something that changed how I think about wealth completely. By the end of this video, you'll understand why intelligence often slows down wealth, the specific habits that trap smart people financially, and a simple way to break out without becoming reckless or irresponsible. This isn't about getting rich fast. It's about stopping the slow bleed of wasted time. Big lessons. Lesson 1. Intelligence without execution is useless. Here's the first hard lesson I learned. Nothing rewards thinking. Everything rewards doing. I've built rockets and cars. Do you know how many times the plan was wrong? Almost every time. If I waited until everything made sense, nothing would exist. Smart people love to prepare. They research. They model scenarios. They optimize spreadsheets. But wealth doesn't compound in your head. It compounds in the real world. Practical takeaway. Set a deadline where thinking stops and action begins. Even imperfect action creates feedback. Thinking alone creates excuses. Lesson 2. Smart people confuse risk with discomfort. Most people think they're risk averse. They're not. They're discomfort averse. Early on, I risked nearly everything I had. Not because I loved risk, but because I hated stagnation more. Smart people often avoid moves that feel risky, even when the real risk is standing still, while inflation and time quietly destroy their options. Comfort feels responsible. It isn't. Practical takeaway. Ask yourself, is this actually risky or just unfamiliar? If the downside is embarrassment, not ruin, it's probably not real risk. Lesson 3. Overthinking is fear wearing a lab coat. Let me say this clearly. Overthinking is not intelligence. It's fear pretending to be logic. I've watched people delay decisions for years because they wanted more data, more certainty, one more opinion. That's not analysis, that's avoidance. Markets change, technology moves, life moves, and the person still getting ready gets left behind. Practical takeaway. Limit information intake, decide faster. If a decision is reversible, decide now. Speed is a form of leverage. Lesson 4. Smart people protect their identity instead of their future. This one is uncomfortable. Smart people often tie their identity to being careful, rational, or above mistakes. So they avoid situations where they might look wrong. I've been wrong publicly many times. That's the cost of building anything meaningful. If protecting your self-image matters more than improving your position, wealth will always stay just out of reach. Practical takeaway. Detach ego from outcomes. Measure decisions by progress, not pride. Lesson 5. Simple systems beat brilliant ideas. Here's a paradox. The smarter someone is, the more complicated they make money. But the biggest gains I've seen came from simple systems applied relentlessly. Not clever trades, not genius predictions, just consistent allocation, focus, and patience. Practical takeaway. If your financial plan needs constant explanation, it's too complex. Simplify until it runs without motivation. Myth-busting segment. Let's kill a few myths. Myth is your own. Smart people eventually figure it out. No, only people who act figure it out. Myth #2. Caution keeps you safe. Caution without growth slowly destroys purchasing power. That's not safety, that's decay. Myth #3. I'll move when I'm ready. You never feel ready. Readiness is a byproduct of movement, not a prerequisite. A simple framework. Here's a framework you can actually remember. Decide, simplify, act, review, repeat. Decide faster than you're comfortable with. Simplify until the plan fits on one page. Act before certainty arrives. Review results, not intentions. Repeat without drama or ego. That's it. No genius required. Let me leave you with this. Being smart is not a financial advantage if it keeps you cautious, slow, and comfortable. The world doesn't reward potential, it rewards momentum. If you're still waiting for the perfect moment, understand this. The cost of waiting is higher than the cost of being wrong. If you want more hard lessons like this without the sugarcoating, subscribe and don't miss the next one.